Barclays Center in Brooklyn. We are set for this championship bout. Errol Spence Jr. looking for his 10th consecutive knockout in the first welterweight title defense against former two-division champion, longtime friend, and former sparring partner Lamont Peterson. Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, it's showtime! Introducing to you first, the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing purple trunks with black and gray trim, hailing from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. He weighed in at 146 3/4 pounds. His record stands at 35 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw, with 17 wins coming by way of knockout. A veteran of 6 world title bouts, he is currently ranked the IBF number 5 contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's challenger, the former two-weight division champion of the world, Lamont Peterson. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black and white trunks with gold trim. He hails from Dallas, Texas. He weighed in at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds, a 2012 U.S. Olympian, and now truly one of the young stars of boxing today, with an undefeated record of 22 wins, no losses, and 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making the first defense of his title, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the reigning, the defending, and the undefeated IBF welterweight champion of the world, introducing the truth, Errol Spence Jr. Once again, Harvey Dog is our referee in charge, and now to give instructions.
Okay, boxers, we went over the instructions earlier.
The class acts in the sport enjoying a collegial relationship. Errol Spence Jr. about to begin just the 89th round of his pro career. The experience edge goes to Lamont Peterson as he's about to begin professional round 273. Referee Harvey Dock, round 1. Two pugilistic protagonists getting ready to antagonize each other here. The champion Errol Spence Jr. in the white with black and gold. The challenger Lamont Peterson in the purple with black and gray.
Errol Spence normally throws more punches. He averages about 62 punches around, 10 more than Peterson. We'll see if that level of activity starts out. Early in the fight is a dangerous time for Lamont Peterson. We all remember him getting knocked out early by Lucas Matisse, another big puncher. He's got to get through these early rounds.
Spence has recorded 9 straight wins inside the distance. 6 of those stoppages have come in the 5th round or sooner. And remember his stablemate, champion Jermell Charlo at 154. Paulie telling us that Spence hits like a light heavyweight, the most powerful puncher he's ever sparred with.
Yeah, that's what, and those are big words of praise from Charlo, who's a world champion in his own right in the junior middleweight division. You know, let's remember, Spence broke Kell Brook's eye socket in the last fight. You know, you got to be able to punch to give that kind of injury to someone.
And the southpaw Spence establishing that jab, and Al, in this fight, we're seeing a modern-day version of the invasion of the body snatchers. Somewhere Mike McCullum will be happy about what we anticipate seeing when it comes to stuff like that.
And right on cue, Errol Spence goes downstairs. Both these men are fantastic body punchers.
Yeah, Errol's targeted the midsection with that straight left hand a couple times in this round already.
And he's already thrown 26 punch, 27 compared to 6 for Peterson. So again, Peterson known as not a quick starter. taking a while to get going here in round one.
You may have seen video of Lamont Peterson's training in the gym, making those abs rock hard in anticipation of withering the storm here, Paulie, because the guy's in incredible shape, and yet he is being targeted by Spence early to the body.
Yeah, you got to prepare for the kind of battle Errol Spence is going to give you. And that includes a lot of body punches.
Peterson's not giving him that much lateral movement early in this fight.
Yeah, Peterson's trying to almost present the target in front of Spence, but not throwing. He's almost like kind of gauging what Errol's going to give him, what Errol's going to do.
I agree.
And both said that it would be, as we talked about in the fighter meetings, a tactical affair for the first couple of rounds and then morph into a dogfight, as Errol Spence put it.
You know what Lamont's doing? He's presenting a target in front of Spence, and what a lot of times what that may do is generate an error or whatnot, or a mistake, you know, because the opponent sees the target in front of him constantly presenting itself, and it may cause some panic. But Errol, you know, Errol reacting very calm so far.
Spence working behind a jab. Good start for Errol Spence Jr. And we could be in the midst of a...
So in the last round, Spence landed 12 punches. Peterson threw 11. So he was not too active, according to show stats.
I think that was by design from him.
Yes, I agree.
Immediately, Spence attacks the body again with the left hand.
You see where Lamont came out. He came right to the center of the ring and got right in Spence's chest.
Once Peterson does get his engine warmed up, a high-volume puncher, loves to stay in the trenches, but right now, as he tries to navigate the minefield that is Errol Spence Jr., Spence keeping him at bay with that jab, and then goes to the body.
Keep him up, keep him up, keep him up. That was low. Second time.
You know, I thought that Peterson would do some lateral movement, but then move into the pocket when he wanted to. There's a nice
right hand by Peterson, and then a left hook to the body by Peterson.
But Peterson said, okay, I'm going to stay in here and I'm going to fight in the pocket, and he's doing a pretty nice job.
And he does land another right hand, Paulie.
Yeah, he's getting closer and closer, trying to establish that close distance so that he can let go of punches and land them when he throws them. I don't think he's looking to waste any punches right now, because you don't want to leave too many openings in front of Spence.
And Spence wants to continue to make that deposit early, looking for that investment. Lands the right hand upstairs.
They've been in the ring against each other, sparring before when Spence was getting ready for the Olympics. Peterson went to help the Olympic team, so they've been in the ring together before.
And Spence has also sparred with Floyd Mayweather and impressed Money Mayweather when they sparred.
Spence doing some really nice body work early in this fight.
Everything behind the jab, right or left uppercut by Spence. Spence telling us that he's worked a lot on his defense as well. A nice left uppercut, right hand to the body, and left hand upstairs by Spence. And Spence tells us that that killer instinct is instinctual, and he's putting pressure on Peterson here in round two.
Not sure that was the best tactical move to be on the inside so much early with Spence, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think Lamont was really surprised that uppercut.
Yeah. Errol Spence is a steady fighter. He's exciting, but he's steady. He keeps his pace up through the entire
It's like he builds us up to a crescendo as Peterson landed a left hook and pivoted away from the ropes. Under 30 seconds left in the second. Nice straight left to the body by Spence. Slips the jab through the guard of Peterson. So another good round for the undefeated welterweight champion Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. here in Brooklyn. The bell in round number 3 of this IBF welterweight title fight. The champion Errol Spence Jr. in his maiden voyage as title holder against the crafty veteran Lamont Peterson. Peterson trying to smother Errol Spence Jr. Spence sneaking in that right uppercut and then that overhand left.
One of the underrated parts of Spence's game is, in fact, his defense. He called himself a passive-aggressive fighter. He said, I'm aggressive. I thought that was a great phrase. I'm aggressive, but I'm not reckless. And, you know, fighters only land 24% of their power punches, according to show stats, against Spence. So he's a good defensive fighter, even though he's coming forward so much.
Laser focus here in round 3, Paulie, as he just stands in front of Peterson, throwing the 1-2 from the southpaw stance.
Yeah, and that's one of his best assets, is the fact that his positioning is always so well. You know, even inside the pocket, he steps just outside of it, but doesn't lose his balance, doesn't let his hands shift out of position, so he can keep firing and also block or fire off the block.
We talked about Peterson getting through these early rounds. So far he's doing that. He might not be doing that well, but he needs to get through it so that he can pick up the pace.
Withering attack to the body by Spence. Winds up with another 1-2. Hard to believe that Spence started boxing training at the age of 15, but he has been a student of the game, absorbing all kinds of tape of the greats, including Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali. And his favorite fighter, he says, he actually likens himself to Terry Norris for his ability to box and fight. Talk about that, Paul.
Another Texan, Terry Norris. But I'll tell you, he reminds me a lot of Donald Curry, too.
Another Texan.
Tell you what, Peterson is picking up the pace
back here,
and he's starting to work the body as well. And what we're getting now is a very, very good fight.
Yeah, good round for Lamont Peterson with a minute left in the third.
I'll tell you, Errol complained about the rabbit punch, and Lamont's like, shut up and give him another hand.
And now Spence coming back with a flurry of his own. Again, they said it would take a couple of rounds to percolate, and now it looks like it's beginning to boil.
The conventional wisdom is you can't stand in the pocket with Spence the whole fight.
Another uppercut.
We'll see.
Chopping left hand by Spence, who, again, just physically bigger than Lamont Peterson, more powerful. And now backing up Peterson, but Peterson able, the veteran there, Paulie, using an angle.
Yeah, of course, and he's riding with the shot as well there. They're trying to. Nice little slip there and get on the other side of the southpaw.
So good stuff here in the third frame of this IBF welterweight title fight. Spence digging to the body.
A nice catch and shoot by Lamont.
The bell. And this is now round number 4. We talk about the class acts in the ring. What about the class acts in the corner? Spence being trained by Derek James, who won a lot of Trainer of the Year awards. And, of course, Lamont Peterson, trained by his father figure, Barry Hunter, who rescued Lamont and his brother Anthony from the streets of Washington, D.C. when they were 10 years old.
Like their fighters, they are good ambassadors for the sport of boxing and also very good trainers. And Derek James, as you mentioned, training Jermell Charlo, he had an amazing year for himself. He didn't win the Boxing Writers Trainer of the Year, but he was a nominee.
Yeah, Lamont was 10. Anthony, who recorded a victory earlier tonight on the undercard, younger by 14 months. Good left hand from Spence, again targeting the body and then going upstairs.
He's sneaky with that left hand because he throws it from around the side, he throws it up down the middle, and he also has a straight shot, and then he throws it as an uppercut.
Referee Harvey Dock warning him to keep his punches above the belt line.
And as you saw there, he throws it to the body. Or low.
Can Lamont Peterson stay in the pocket with Spence like this the whole fight and survive against that power? This is a little different kind of fight than we expected, even though we thought it would be a dogfight in parts.
Yeah, the only time Peterson's been stopped, you mentioned it, was courtesy of the murderous puncher Lucas Matisse.
A little mouse underneath the right eye of Peterson starting to develop.
And another left uppercut that scored for Spence. Spence beginning to work some angles as well.
Lamont Peterson has thrown only 72 punches in this fight so far, according to show stats, and that he's just going to have to be busier. Spence has thrown over 260 already.
Lead left hand through the guard scores for Spence. Final minute of the fourth frame. Spence continues to walk Peterson down. Peterson with a counter right. And again, just diversity in his attack for Errol Spence Jr. Again, sneaks in that left uppercut, Paulie.
Yeah, and he translates that defense into offense there with a little sneak move, stepping back and then throwing that uppercut.
I mean, it's...
Look at the balance of Spence.
What a clinic. Just to admire the incredible technique. There's a nice left hand by Peterson and a short right hand that caught Spence. And now Spence with a couple of left hands to Peterson.
The problem is Peterson lands a perfect right hand. Spence just keeps coming.
I was just going to say, that's being a natural super lightweight to the natural welterweight.
Sublime combination by Errol Spence here as we end round 4.
Breathe deep. I do not like dropping them in, guys. When you mix it up on the inside, shorten the shots up. Use the body, rotate on this zone, but keep one hand up. One hand up composed. And wait a second.
Errol Spence has every punch in the arsenal. Straight left hand lands by Errol Spence. And as he... And this was the warning for low blows to Spence. He had landed some earlier. That one kind of a belt line, but a little bit low. And Harvey Dock gives him a warning. There have been some earlier in the round. This is Peterson landing that right hand on the inside. And Spence just not.
Crowd of just over 12,100 have congregated here at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn for this welterweight title fight. Round 5, Errol Spence Jr., who told us that he'll be successful if he's able to catch his rhythm. So far, so good. Rhythm is a dancer, and Spence, well, possesses a lot of snap with those punches, although Lamont Peterson coming forward here, attacking the body and landing that left hook.
You know, half of the punches of the 70 punches landed by Spence, according to Showstats, have been body punches. So he has gone downstairs, and now we see Peterson trying to do the same. And we mentioned Lamont Peterson is a good body puncher.
And it's a textbook 1-2 for Errol Spence Jr., Paulie.
Yeah, it is. You know, I just keep watching the technique of both these guys. Both these guys, great balance. You know, it just, Spence is the younger guy, more fresh. He's throwing more punches, and he's a bigger guy. Oh.
And there he drops Lamont Peterson in round 5 with a left hook. And Peterson hitting the deck for the 8th time in his career.
Hanging tough.
And Spence continues to go on the attack, unloads another left hand and another left. Peterson staying in the pocket. Plenty of heart on display. Keith Thurman actually said the winner would be the one with the biggest heart. Well, Lamont Peterson showed of a blistering attack from Errol Spence Jr.
A moment ago, Peterson landed a fantastic right hand. It just didn't stop Spence for a moment.
Right uppercut by
He's
Peterson.
having fun. Errol's having fun. You can see his face. He's enjoying this.
And Lamont Peterson continues to give Errol Spence what he wants, just standing in front of him, Paulie, and making this a firefight.
Yeah, he's doing his best. Lamont's doing his best to fight off the assault.
Seconds left in the 5th round. Peterson has already been down once in this frame. It stands in front of Errol Spence, eats a left uppercut and a straight left through the guard. Errol Spence strafing Peterson, but it's Peterson with a left hand.
It's hard again. It's hard again.
Oh, what a fight in Brooklyn, as advertised.
Lamont showing all the heart.
Oh, my. He has landed some monstrous right hands. They have not moved Spence, as Spence just raking him over the coals.
Mental fortitude, heart, and character on display here in Brooklyn. What a fantastic 5th round of action.
Natural weight matters, guys. Natural weight matters. That was too big here.
Stay in front of him too long.
For the 8th time in his career, Peterson would go down. It is a left hand that will send him to the canvas. Spence was landing terrific punches, and then that left hand kind of at the end of that great combination. Get another look at it. We'll show you that Spence throwing those combinations. He is such a good combination puncher. The right hook, I think, stunned him, and then the left off the top, kind of, on the temple.
I love his ability to be cognizant about his distance, setting up that combination, too.
But what about Peterson's resilience?
Yeah, coming back in this fight. That was one of about 4 excellent right hands that he landed in that round. But you can see Errol Spence just walked through them.
Yeah, he tries to be in there and catch it on the glove so he can catch and shoot, but even when he shoots and lands, it doesn't deter Errol.
Round 6, and Spence comes out firing. Double jab, straight left hand, counter right by Peterson. Well, they kept their promise, guys. They said it would be tactical for the first few rounds, and then it would become a dogfight. And in round 5, we saw the beginning of that dogfight.
Peterson is starting to throw the right hand here, and of course he wants to land that against the lefty Spence. It's hard to do that. Kell Brook did it some early in the fight when he was very competitive, but had a hard time landing it.
Well, Spence really doing everything behind that jab and going downstairs to the body. Remember, against Kell Brook, Errol Spence Jr. facing adversity in the first part of the fight, but then able to impose his will and skill and break the spirit of Kell Brook and his orbital bone around his left eye in the second half of the fight. You wonder if he can break the fighting spirit of Lamont Peterson.
As you look at these numbers of punches landed according to show stats per round, a monstrous edge for or gap for Spence.
Watch Errol Spence's ability to control that distance. Even when he's moving in, he doesn't go stepping too hard to smother himself. Watch, he's always making sure there's enough space for him to punch. Watch, he moves in, he makes, see it right there. So many guys can smother themselves. Look, he'll create this space right there. He's always knowing how to maximize his leverage. Even Lamont steps in there, he takes those half steps back. Every shot Errol throws is a hurtful shot, but it's because he maximizes his distance so he can leverage his shots.
A minute left in the 6th. Crisp combinations being put together by Errol Spence Jr. Really putting on a clinic, but again, the heart of Lamont Peterson fully on display. Lands a left hook upstairs. Goes downstairs to the body with a left that just grazed off Spence's ribcage. And yet, Al Spence just keeps walking through these shots from Peterson.
He's had an amazing round in this round. He's thrown over 70 punches and just every variety, all kinds of punches. Even when Peterson lands a big shot, he walks through it. Finally, a little lateral movement from Lamont Peterson. That would be in order here, I think.
Final 15 seconds of the 6th.
And that's the thing, Lamont giving you the movement, but I don't think he wants to. I think it comes to the point where Errol's forcing him to give ground.
Now, Jamie, come on. Hey. Look at me. Good. I don't like it. I'm good, B. I don't like it. Look, you know me. I know you. It's the guy get more, man. Too much goddamn hot for your own good. I told you to box him. Yeah, you can't keep telling me.
But at this point, man, I'm losing every round. Boxing, what that's gonna do?
But the jab is the key.
I got it. You gotta use it, man.
Carl, if I come up here, man, I'm stopping. Okay?
7 coming up, man.
7 rounds.
Okay.
Do you got any left?
Yeah, I got something in it.
Huh?
I got something in it.
Seconds out.
We begin the second half of this championship affair. Referee Harvey Dock calling for a timeout, and the doctor Nitin Sethi. Doctor inspecting the left eye of Lamont Peterson, and Peterson comes forward the lead left hook to begin the second half of this championship affair. A lot of concern from Peterson's trainer and father figure Barry Hunter. More Ranallo, Al Bernstein, Paulie Malignaggi at ringside. You're watching Errol Spence Jr. defend his welterweight title for the first time against former 2-division champion Lamont Peterson.
You know, Spence has not lost since 2012 when he lost in the Olympics to Russian Andrei Zankovsky, so he doesn't know losing.
Our unofficial scorer, Steve Farrad, has Errol Spence Jr. pitching a shutout. Lamont Peterson, always someone who wants to go out on his shield. He told us if he had his druthers, he'd be fighting every month, Paulie. He just loves the sport of boxing, loves to compete.
He sure does, and you can hear it in his voice and the way he tells you these things, that it's not just something he's saying just to sound good in an interview. He legitimately loves it. He trains for fun.
And Errol Spence continues to feed him a steady diet of an array of punches out. He keeps mixing it up with the jab, the straight left, the uppercuts, the body shots.
And you know, Lamont Peterson's had a lot of tough fights. 5 of his last 6 fights have been close decision fights. One he lost to Danny Garcia, but even the ones he won have been wars. So he's maybe worn down a little bit. We'll see if he can continue.
And being in this kind of fight will definitely weigh you down.
Yeah.
And showing a lot of wrinkles. You see little subtle changes in angles.
Yeah.
Little stutter steps in there.
Man,
watch, see that right there? A little stutter step to the right. He's actually enjoying himself in there.
Errol Spence Jr. entering his prime at 27, undefeated at 22-0, 19 knockouts. Going back to the 2012 Olympics, was really pegged as the Olympian that was most likely to succeed on the men's side. Remember, Clarissa Shields, the lone gold medalist at that American men's team, medalist, Al, first time.
You know, when you look at Errol Spence, you think, well, he should be able to be hit more. He's coming in, he's aggressive. His hands might not be always right, but, you know, it's hard to hit him.
Yeah, and at this point, he's also in the mind of Lamont Peterson.
Yeah, exactly.
So the offense coming from the opponent is not going to be as enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And here in round 7, Errol Spence really putting it on Lamont Peterson, showing different wrinkles, like you mentioned, Paulie, with the footwork, the angle, and then the variety of punches targeting all facets of Lamont Peterson's anatomy.
But as fancy as he can get, he doesn't forget the basics. Still using the jab.
The fight has been stopped. Errol Spence Jr. records his 10th consecutive stoppage win, and he continues to impress.
Yes, sir. I know.
Thanks for coming.
You got it, baby.
The face of a warrior, a gutsy, courageous effort for Lamont Peterson, but Errol Spence is the truth.
He really is, man. I mean,
doesn't show a lot of emotion. There was a smile from Errol Spence Jr. finally realizing that he dominated this fight. There was one knockdown in this fight. It happened 55 seconds into round 5 when Peterson went down from a left hand to the temple.
A series of punches, good combination punching by Errol Spence, and then this combination would culminate with the left hand that, as you said, was to the temple area and lost his equilibrium and went down. And that was the point where the fight really changed. I mean, Spence had been doing very well up to that point, but that's the point where it changed dramatically. And then from then on, Lamont Peterson was in a position where it was survival, and he couldn't do it.
Let's make it official now. Here once again is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 second in round number 8. On advice of the corner, our referee in charge stops the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, and he is still the undefeated IBF